Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. This time I'm looking at why there are so few left-handed professional golfers in the men's game. I'm a left-hander myself, so researching this topic was particularly pertinent to me. Let's get straight into things. In April 2022, only 5 of the world's top 100 are left-handed golfers. Phil Mickelson, Brian Harman, Garrick Higgo, Robert McIntyre and Bubba Watson. Other notable left-handers include Hank Lebioda, Ted Potter Jr., Greg Chambers, Tim Wilkinson and the up-and-coming Akshay Bhatia. All in all though, not many, and out of all those names, only Phil and Bubba could really be considered well-known and household. A look back at history reveals an even more striking statistic. In the history of the game, only 4 left-handed golfers have won a major: Mickelson, Bubba, Mike Weir and Bob Charles. Australian Charles was the first to do it in 1963, winning the Open at Royal Lytham and St Anne's. Charles was followed by Mike Weir, who won his first and only major, even before Mickelson at the 2003 Masters. The following year, Mickelson was victorious at Augusta and went on to win a further 2 majors at the Masters, 2 at the PGA and 1 at the Open. Only the US Open has eluded Mickelson. Finally, the title of the second most successful left-handed golfer of all time goes to Bubba Watson, who has won the Masters twice, in 2012 and 2014. As a result, only 10 majors have been won by left-handed golfers. To put this into perspective, this accounts for only 2% of all major championship winners. So just why are there so few professional left-handed golfers? It's not surprising that there aren't that many professional left-handed golfers, as there are far fewer left-handed people in the world compared to right-handed people. There is lots of research on this, which generally concludes that between 10 and 12% of the world's population is left-handed. However, given that only 5% of the world's top 100 golfers are left-handed, a clear gap exists here. Consider other sports too. At present, there are currently 15 left-handed male tennis players in the world's top 100. In cricket, the prevalence of left-handers is even stronger. Of all the men who made their international test debuts between 2010 and 2020, 30% bat left-handed. The strongest prevalence of left-handers can be found in baseball, where around 35% of batters in the MLB are left-handed. With left-handers overrepresented in tennis, cricket and baseball, why for golf does such significant underrepresentation exist? Let's take a deeper look. If you consider tennis, cricket, baseball and golf stands out as the only sport where equipment varies depending on whether you are left or right-handed. There is no such thing as a left-handed tennis racket, a left-handed cricket bat or a left-handed baseball bat, yet for golf whether you are left or right-handed will determine the clubs that you use. See the difference here between a left-handed and right-handed driver. This variation between left and right-handed equipment has had a big impact on the underrepresentation of left-handed golfers across the game. For the first 4 centuries of golf's existence, nobody even considered the idea of making clubs for left-handers. Even in the 20th century, left-handed equipment was very scarce, which meant it was difficult to even find clubs to play left-handed. Until Phil Mickelson came along in the 1990s, it was hard to find a good variety of clubs. For instance, former LPGA touring pro and left-hander Judy Pavon suggested that when she played on tour between 1989 and 1994, there was limited equipment for her. If she needed adjustments to her clubs, manufacturers could take up to a month, whilst for a right-hander it would be a day. Pavon even revealed that people asked her when she came on tour why she hadn't switched to become a right-hander when she first took up the game. Fast forward to today and the same problem remains, albeit not as extreme as it was 30 years ago. There is still significantly less availability of left-handed clubs compared to right-handed options. This is the case in pro shops, at members clubs and throughout the wider retail space. Consider some of golf's biggest retailers: American Golf in the UK and TGW and the PGA Tour Superstore in the US. For each, a clear disparity exists between the availability of clubs for left-handers versus right-handers. The UK market, represented by American Golf, has the greatest disparity, with only 13% of clubs available to buy for left-handers. Whilst the disparity is better in the US, it is still just under a third of clubs available for left-handers. Simply put, if you are left-handed, there just isn't as much choice for you. As a left-hander myself, I've experienced this very recently. I was looking to buy a Scotty Cameron putter in American Golf and was told in one of their stores that they simply don't stock any for left-handers. The fact that golf retailers prioritise right-handers is hardly surprising. Any business that is seeking to maximise its revenues and profits will aim to match the level of their supply with corresponding demand. In the case of golf equipment, demand for left-handed products is low, so from a business's perspective, it makes sense to limit levels of supply. This scenario creates a strategic chicken and egg problem. For golf retailers to offer more left-handed golf clubs, they need more left-handed golfers. But more left-handed golfers is only really likely when there are more left-handed golf clubs available. This creates a virtuous cycle, which has arguably limited growth of left-handers in the game. The current state of play regarding the availability of new golf clubs for left-handers paints only a small part of this picture. This is because it takes time for someone to develop into a professional golfer. Since the average age of the world's top 100 is 32, we can assume that most of the top 100 began playing the game between 20 and 35 years ago. Given that most golf retailers say that the availability of left-handed clubs today is the best it's ever been, it's evident that when the current crop of professional golfers were growing up, there would have been less left-handed equipment available, perhaps pushing some to play the game right-handed. Golf is also an expensive sport, with higher than average price barriers to entry for new players. The cost of golf clubs means that for many starting in the game, they will take what they can get at an affordable price. Again, for the average person, this pushes them towards playing right-handed. Ultimately, the reduced availability of left-handed golf clubs will have had some bearing on why there are so few professional left-handers, especially compared to tennis, cricket and baseball, none of whom have different equipment depending on whether you are left or right-handed. However, it's impossible to quantify or measure just how big an impact this has had. Nuances exist too. Take the example of Canada, where estimates put up to 30% of golfers as left-handed. This is driven by the fact that up to 70% of hockey players in Canada are left-handed. In most instances, your average Canadian will pick up a hockey stick first, creating an imprint by the time they consider golf. As Mike Weir said, "That's the way I shot in hockey and I was just comfortable with it." Exactly why such a high proportion of Canadians play hockey left-handed is contested and ultimately unknown. Some posit that it is to do with Canadians taking up the game earlier and at a younger age, so it is more important to put their stronger hand, which in most cases will be their right, at the top of the stick. Others simply put it down as a cultural quirk. Once the quirk starts, others follow. Ben Hogan even famously said that golf is a right-handed game played by left-handed people. Both Hogan and Arnold Palmer were left-handed, but played the game right-handed. Other examples include Greg Norman, Tom Watson, Retief Goosen, and Johnny Miller. To make matters even more confusing, Phil Mickelson and Bob Charles are both actually right-handed. Phil only took up the game left-handed, so he was able to easily mirror his dad's right-handed swing. What is clear, whether you're considering golf or hockey, in Canada or elsewhere, there is not an agreed or definitive answer for why left-handers can be overrepresented or underrepresented. For golf, equipment has definitely played a part, but there are unknown and ultimately unmeasurable factors which determine why so few professional golfers are left-handed. Becoming a professional golfer is such a challenging journey which varies greatly between individuals. Having a fully prescriptive answer for why there are so few left-handers is just not possible given the unique journey every individual goes on to become a pro. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video. Cheers.